Okay. Can be some, if there will be like a bit noise in the background, it could be possible because I'm now like on the terrace upstairs because I wanted to be close to the internet. I will try to change my head, put on 10, remove.
No
Okay,
worry,
perfect.
all is fine.
I think, yeah, now it's okay. All right, there we go. So yeah,
Igor,
followers. Mm-hmm.
Igor, after this lesson, could you tell us for like 2 3 minutes how you like Morocco? Because you like because you are now in Morocco.
Mm-hmm. Yes, yes. I'm now in Tagazout. It's like small surf town, and it's a great escape from Europe from the winter. Actually, so if you feel like you want to escape the winter, it's an amazing place to escape because it's beautiful weather. It's still low season here, but the weather is amazing, sunny. It's very nice, and it's very
Okay.
affordable as well compared to other
Mm-hmm.
countries. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And Igor, there has been a very nice coincidence because based on what you shared already, somewhere I saw Fez,
Mm-hmm.
if I'm
Yes.
pronouncing well. Uh,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
we used to be hosting. We used to be hosting a high senior academy people
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
many years back in our university. They will are Arabic, let's say, poets.
Mm-hmm.
Even
Mm-hmm.
one of the leading figure, a lady, I forgot her name. She was called the Nightingale of of the country, something like that. She was
Mm-hmm.
presenting a lot of interesting. So we had a lot of good time with the groups. At the time,
Nice.
I was acting as an interpreter for the group. They were coming to our university,
Mm-hmm.
and
Mm-hmm.
at the time, Isfahan, one of the city in Iran, which has been UNESCO's cultural city as one of the cultural cities nominated
Mm-hmm.
before. Yeah, we had very nice time with those people, and yeah, for a 3 days event. I just want to say hello to Fez on behalf of me because almost 20 years ago we were there hosting in
Wow,
Iran.
that's amazing. That's really amazing. Yeah, Fes is beautiful. Like, yeah, unfortunately, I just like left Fes like because I stayed there only like 4 days, but I created like a whole documentary about the tanneries. So there's like a UNESCO heritage of the tanneries, how they process the leather. So I like documented it.
Yeah,
Like on
yeah, I
video
saw
and
it.
pictures, and also gave like a class actually in the University of Barcelona online for like the journalism students. Was very cool because they learned about yeah, ethical dilemmas. So we had it a bit during the first module. So I teach them a bit like the ethical dilemmas of the tanneries in Fez because yeah, a lot of people are like against it because yeah, it's very stinky, the leather production, and not always good for the workers because they need to basically process the leather, remove the hair from the leather in like pigeon poop because the ammoniac of the pigeon poop helps to yeah, to remove basically the hair and the skin from the hides of the animals. And yeah, so there are a lot of people against it, but on the other side, yeah, it's cultural heritage. It's like handcraft, right? An ancient handcraft, very important for culture. So it's kind of, yeah, you hear a lot of different voices. I kind of like documented that in an objective way, and we'll put like an article and a YouTube video from it. So yeah, if it will be ready, I will share it here with you. And yeah, further fest, I
Sure.
think it's also one of the biggest urban places where cars can enter. So it's very beautiful because it's a very old Medina, a bit like a dungeon of like old buildings, and yeah, the cars can't enter there because of the gates. So it's like the biggest urban area where cars can't enter. So if you
Mm,
both get the chance to go there, like Baha, if you can get again, and Veronica, if you go first time, it's very beautiful for pictures. You'll find many stories
sure,
there in Fez. I'll write it
sure.
down maybe to like so you know the. Oh, I try to I can't write it down. Something is like stopping me. Wait a second. Like my mouse got lagged. Oh, there it is. Okay, so that's fast. Okay, so yeah, let's stick to the topic for now, because I could talk hours about Morocco. So yeah, about followers. So how do you guys think you can get more people to watch your content? What do you think? The best is to ask you about if you have any strategies.
So the question is how to strategize getting more followers, yes?
Yes, exactly. So how can you like distribute? So imagine you write a beautiful article about fast, for example, about the leather production. How can you make it possible to get as many people as possible to click on your article and read it, or on your video? I'm very
Yeah,
curious.
I think the watch time and the kind of followers might vary from one platform to another. For example, in YouTube, they might just skim and scan or just not linger anymore. So that watch time is something. But
Yes.
being a subscriber, a regular follower, I believe one of the thing is more kind of socio-psychological kind of identity. In fact, you should make a good connection with your audience in such a way that they believe their time worth it to click, to read. If it's about the article, for example, the good thing is you can include, okay, this article takes 10 minutes, 5 minutes. So once you give the timeline, then the person, okay, let me read because this person is important, or what he has already given me is a good impression. So it's like a kind of magnetism, as if you are contributing to one or group of people. So they like to be in touch with you on a more regular basis.
So basically, like building like loyal followers, right? So people that
Yes.
feel like, okay, they know like, okay, Baha, for example, creates content, let's say about Iran, and they know like, okay, every Saturday or every first of one month, there will be like a new article about Iran or new video, and they will wait for it, and they know you will remind them as well, for example, with the email or with a personal message, what I really recommend, because I can imagine a lot of you have hundreds of contacts. If you send them in a personal message your YouTube video and just ask to comments, you get so much more comments. I did it with one video. I got like, I think 50 or 60 comments. So it can be very helpful, even if like 20% replies, right?
Yeah.
And the other thing I think about what you said about is the psychological aspect of attention and watch time. That's also very important to hook the person, right? So, and to keep the person engaged by providing triggers, right? So that's also
In
important. So
fact, there
people
should be
stay
a
longer.
kind of necessity. We should create a kind of feeling that the person believes we are meeting something as his or her need, something interesting to spend time.
Yes,
It is just
exactly.
not budgetizing money, but also budgetizing time. As you mentioned, consistency on a regularity, on the specific time. Okay, I know that I can get a new something from that person on a given time. So yeah, that is bringing a breach between us and the other people on the other side.
So I will put it a little bit here in numbers. So attention, right? You need to grab attention. Triggers, you need to keep people engaged. And third one is also consistency. So people need to know that you are there for them every time, right? So for example, now you all know that, oh, we do weekly those master classes at the same time, right? So people know like, okay, we are here every week, right? Together. So the same with the YouTube video. If people know that, okay, Baha will publish every time like a travel video about Iran, for example, or like Veronica about Moscow. So people keep watching because they wait for it, right? They will know like, okay, he'll provide like every Saturday at 7 p.m. a new episodes, or every month you'll provide a new article through the newsletter, for example, with the email. or new photography, right? Or a new podcast, like an interview with people. So it's it's very valuable, like the consistency. Yeah, and also of course the distribution, right? You need to post it in the right channels. And Veronica, what do you think? What's like important, like with getting more followers? To build a community of loyal followers. Oh, I see Veronica is eating. Okay. No worries. Take your time. Take your time. Now we'll move to the other slide. Let me check. So, whoa, a moment. All right. Where is your audience? Yeah. So that's also like a important question, is to know where you target your audience, right? So, who is your audience? So first of all, where are they, right? Who are they? Are they like, for example, Dutch people? Are they like maybe Spanish people living in the Netherlands? Are they like Spanish diplomats living in the Netherlands, working with the Palace of Peace? Or are those like maybe international students from Spain, or maybe people that work in the labor sector, in the logistics? It's very important to know like who your audience is, right? Because then you know what are their problems and their profile, right? So you need to know where your tribe is and who that tribe is that you produce content for, right? And at the end, you also need to know like how much they earn if you want to monetize it, right? So you know if what kind of price tag you can put, right? Because maybe you could charge diplomats a bit more, for example, for courses. But of course, like, yeah, if you have, for example, international students, then yeah, it can be more difficult to, for example, charge like, 5,000 euro for like a course to go for like a seminar, right? And diplomats pay sometimes prices like that. Okay,
I
so
think
here we.
I think even diplomats are not going to pay. This is their government paying.
Yeah, it's more the government, of course, because they get money from like the government and they fund their education, their courses. Yeah,
Or they have some
basically. So
budget
we basically
allocation.
pay from the taxes. Yeah, yeah. That's true. That's true. Yeah. So also like about a persona. Did you hear about a persona? So it's basically you create like a character, and then you you can imagine that's your perfect reader or your perfect audience. And you put like age, what kind of work they do, education, how much they earn, what they do in the free time, what are their pain points, their problems, and where they are based, right? So it's a very cool assignment for yourself to define a little bit like for who you write or for who you produce the videos. So maybe like, I'm not sure, Veronica, you still eat, or are you ready to answer the question? Let me know. You could type in the chat, because I know I can imagine you don't want to speak with the mouth full with the food. If you're still eating, no worries. Then I'll ask
So
Baha.
while
You can make.
while Veronica is having her supper, dinner, or something, I may add, as you mentioned, persona is, I can say, the average typical character
Yes.
who can represent our total population. So imagine I do have a group of, let's say, 40, 50 people in my class, in my team. So persona is a person who is roughly giving us a roadmap showing that, all right, if their average age is blah, 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 if their interest is blah, blah, blah. So at the end of the day, I may be able to put all those averages, numbers, figures into a kind of personified character that truly represents. So then it's quite easier for me to know one persona in my mind as a map by whom we can create more needs met. We can improve the other people's demand, because now you have one person in your mind. So it's very nice that they do it in the management, in the marketing, with the
Yeah,
persona,
that's true.
persona characterization. Yes. And also it is used technically, what we call it in customer journey, for example. This is another term.
Exactly. Yeah, that's a very
Yes.
beautiful term. Yeah, and
Yes.
especially in marketing, they call it as well. So it's good for us as travel journalists, but also for the
Mm.
business, right? You know, like you
Yes.
basically stereotype a little bit like your client, right? So you put all the data together and then you try to kind of put a bit of summary of your client base. However, if you have a big subscriber base, let's say you have a 50,000 people, you can also make 5 personas or 10 or 20 personas. That's also fine.
Exactly.
However, I would recommend just to make for now just one, and later maybe you can make 2, 3, or 4, right? So that's better to make it simple. Don't overcomplicate it. But for example, I will give, let's say you have Nomadic Matt, one of the biggest travel bloggers, one of the founders of the whole digital nomad industry. So he wrote first about budget travel, right? So his audience were like backpackers, young people that didn't have money but would love to go traveling, right? So he helped them like, hey, how can you go and volunteer abroad? Oh, you can teach English maybe abroad. Oh, you can work remotely for a company or work on a farm. So he helped them basically travel with almost no money, like where to stay cheap, where to eat cheap, where to buy cheap things or fix problems the cheap way, right? So really like the budget thing. So yeah, he could have like a subscribe base of like, he had eventually like millions of people, but let's say in the beginning, 10,000 people, and those were like backpackers, let's say the age of like 18 to 25, for example. That was his audience, and they had a lot of problems like no money, want to travel, um, looking for work. So those were like the problems, for example. So that's good to, yeah. Other example, like say Mark Wiens, he's like a travel food blogger. So he focused on people that love food. So the problems of people were like, yeah, I'm going, for example, to Morocco. How can I prepare like a tagine, right? So he could provide like a recipe for it, the right resources, where to buy the things, and people would know how to make their dish from abroad, right? Before the ChatGPT industry. So here we can see some, yeah, case studies with, for example, with the audience, how you can even make a case study for yourself from your persona. Like John has a passion for surfing in cold country. In countries, he usually searches on Google, YouTube, and Facebook groups to connect with other surfers that like freezing weather conditions. So as you can see, that's very specific. So you have John, he is a surfer, so you have a surfers community. But yeah, there are many people that surf, but he specializes in surfing in cold places. So that means they need a specific wetsuit for that, a warmer wetsuit than usual. And yeah, here you can see a bit where he hangs out, like on Google, YouTube, Facebook groups, and what he looks for, right? So what it's his, his problem. He looks for professional wetsuits for extreme weather conditions. So that you can see how you define the audience, right? In this case, we have Maria. Maria plans to move to Indonesia with her husband. She looks on travel blogs for information about where it's a great place for expats to live, to be able to connect with the international community. And she looks also for renting and later for buying a house. So you could have a blog about real estate in Bali, for example, right? And she looks for houses. You can provide that information how to buy a house in Bali, for example, right? So you can be an expert and you connect with expats, let's say above 30 plus, and you guide them to relocate in Bali, for example. You can make like a relocation business and combine it with a travel blog or YouTube channel, for example. Then we have Ronald. Ronald loves coffee. So those are like your audiences, so those names. Ronald loves coffee. He can spend hours reading about different coffee beans and methods of preparation of that coffee. He looks for a course to learn more about how to become a barista he searches on Google, barista course, barista school, barista academy, barista tools to learn about coffee, right? So then, yeah, for example, you have other 10,000 Ronalds, right, that also look to learn how to make professional coffee, right? And so then you can make a whole blog about different places where you could find coffee beans, best cafes in the world, best barista schools, or provide your own barista course, right? So that's a bit an example how you define your persona, what their problems are, you make a case, and then you can provide value and content for those people to make a business and reach out to that audience with your content, right? So it can be about everything. All right, and here another assignment. So here, it's actually from the persona. You dive a bit through different life areas. It's also used in social work. When I worked with victims of human trafficking, like in the Netherlands, so we also had like different life areas of the person. So we tried to help the person with education, with finding work that fits them, with finances like debts, but also like helping them pay their monthly bills, location, a safe house. So we help the woman, for example, to find temporary a place that's safe. For example, looks a bit like a hostel, but then it's guarded. With language, to learn the local language, and all the other problems, right? So those are like, there are more like life areas in social work, like 7 officially, but here just I put the most important ones for your audience, and then you can add problems. And the best way is just to interview your audience. Try to talk with your people, ask, what kind of struggles they have. When I was teaching Dutch, I asked people like, okay, why you want to learn Dutch? What problems do you have? Oh, people are not confident. They find it scary to learn. They want to learn Dutch to be able to find better work or ask for a salary raise, or to talk with the teachers at school for their children, or pass the civil exam. So those are all the problems, right, people? So that's about the problems. So here you can see a bit different ways to gain traffic. So you have your audience, you know where the audience hangs out, you know the persona, all the problems, the whole life basically of your persona. And now the question is how to reach to that person. You need to know where the person hangs out, and then basically you need to send content to attract the person to your website, right? To send the traffic, right, to your website. So it's a bit like a store with the billboards. So you can do it through different ways, like Google search, also called SEO. So you basically optimize your travel blog posts for Google and also for ChatGPT, so people can find you. And they use different keywords, like let's say best coffee in, for example, in The Hague in the Netherlands, right? And then people can find your travel blog post, right, about coffee in the Netherlands. Further, they can find you on WordPress Reader if you have WordPress.com, a website. If you find it difficult, you can use Medium.com to publish your first articles. You have email marketing, and you can do it different ways. You can do it through a monthly or weekly newsletter. That's also called like a nurture email campaign to build the relationship with your audience. So basically you send every month like a newsletter with a lot of valuable information. And what you can also do is kind of like, it's more called like a sales email campaign. So that's more, you provide very valuable information. You try to sell something through weekly emails. So that's also like other way to do it, to reach your audience. Then we have guest blogging. I add like 10 travel blogs where you can send a guest blog post. And that's also called like backlinking. So that means if people read another article, they see you wrote it, they will click through to your website, right? To the source. Especially on big platforms, like I wrote one time, for example, an article for Columbus magazine, and it's a very big magazine with thousands of people like reading it. Then you get more, of course, more traffic into your website. A good alternative for guest blogging is basically making reels on Instagram or YouTube videos and then like collab with other people. So they will tag you basically on their channel, right? And if they tag me, for example, on their channel, all the people that watch their content, they will see that they collaborate with me. So they will probably click on me and then maybe follow me if they like the content. When I did that kind of collab, usually I got like a lot of more people like following basically. So like subscribing kind of on Instagram. Other thing, yeah, social media. So yeah, that's what I talk about. Traditional media, publications. If you find yourself in a newspaper, New York Times, like you know, like for example, BBC, like on the website, right? Then yeah, there's like millions of people watching it. So suddenly you can get a lot of traffic. So that's like the most extreme form of like getting traffic, or if your video goes viral, right? And the last one is communities. So basically join those communities of like baristas, of like surfers that surf in cold conditions, or people that want to relocate to Bali and look for real estate. Those niche communities usually wait for very valuable and niche content, right? So sometimes even if you forward 5 people through that community to your website about the Dutch language, for example, then maybe you can get like 3, 4, 5 new students that want Dutch classes, for example. So it's not all about the numbers. You don't need to have millions of followers. Sometimes you can have a couple of followers that want to relocate, and you offer a service of €2,000 of relocating to Bali, getting a insurance, a bank, a phone number, because people do those businesses. And then, yeah, you don't need that much followers, right? So that's a bit easier. Further, yeah, how do you get traffic to your travel blog? So yeah, maybe I would just ask at the end, like, does any of you has a strategy to reach out to your followers and to get more traffic? So what would you do with your niche? So maybe Veronica, I think you finished.
Yes, I finished. Do you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you well.
You know what? As far as our social media blocked, uh, I like took into consideration all these ways. It's a general way, but when I'm listening to you, the idea came to my mind. As far as I'm very interested deeply in personal development, I could develop a strategy of travel psychology, and I could write on this topic from the side of uh, deeply roots and code, like a genetic code of different cultures and people, because uh, like we are like maybe like a little bit similar to each other, yes, but South African, Europeans, Russians, I don't know, Americans, they still have difference in how they perceive the world, yes, because even what I noticed, even in the conversation between each other, I saw that Russian people, they are very extremely emotionally and a little bit rude. In comparison with European people who are very, like, you know, very, very polite, not emotions, not rude, and know how to express their feelings properly. And all these topics are very interesting to have a research of this psychological point of view, and you could do it during your traveling to go deeply to the lifestyle, to the level of living, because you know that maybe if in Russia we have like a better level of life, maybe better salaries, better, of course, in Moscow we have like a good social support of our people concerning like hospitals and everything. But in general, in Russia, we have very low standard of life in some villages and cities. And of course, it have a very big influence on the mentality of the people, and that they are very little bit like a negative, like a little bit emotional or something like this in compared to European people. You know that you are maybe even grown up in this way, but in another way you have like a different approach on the life, and um, like I don't know, different kinds of another way of interaction with other people and other nationalities or something like this. And I will study this because, you know, as I wrote this like memoir essay about my past, I think I could even publish after this book, and will wrote not only about myself but about people whom I met on my path, and who has another approach to the life, and who has influence on myself to pass the transformation to the international lady. Because I would like to
Very,
leave
it's very interesting. It's really very interesting, because I know I had it actually at social work about, yeah, like nurture nature. So like imagine if you have a piece of white paper, just like, you know, like throw it, and then it goes through years. Of course, it starts to, you know, there will be colors on it and paint, and something will happen with the paper. So that's the same with people, right? Through life, we get a socialization process and we get different experiences. However, on the other side, you have also like the experiences from like your family members and people that lived before you. So it's kind of like sometimes you could call generational trauma that influence your values, norms, and culture that you grow up with from childhood, right? So a good example I can give, for example, from Poland, is like we always fill the fridge full in Poland. And that's because we were always in war, for example, you know, so people put more food in the fridge, right? So it's kind of a form of generational trauma. So yeah, it's, I think, very interesting to see like, yeah, what's like the socialization process, like what's more the DNA, right? That's fascinating. I think you should definitely do some research about it. It's very interesting.
Yes. Baha, tell me your opinion, please. Maybe he's doing something. Okay.
We lost Baja.
No, sorry.
Yeah,
It just took
still
me
there.
some time to find. I have several pages open in my laptop. So
No worries.
asking me about the strategy of how to get followers?
Yes. So how would you like attract people? Let's say one main channel where you reach out to people. What will be your main channel that you target your audience, where they hang out?
As you mentioned, I think number one is very important to clarify whom I am dealing with and why. So the target group analysis, I believe, this is important.
Perfect. That's a very good.
Then
I will write it down.
Kind of,
target group analysis.
Yeah. Then I believe I have to focus on the kind of content that I believe creates loyalty, because it's very important when I make, let's say, as you mentioned, YouTube or any other platform, what would be my niche? What would be the kind of thing me, and also most importantly, the people care about, not simply the algorithm likes. Because some people might thought everything is because of the machine, because of monetizing. But I believe here the human element is more important.
Exactly. So it's about the problem and solution.
We have a saying. Yeah, we have a saying in my language, which means a proverb, which says, anything which is said from the bottom of your heart would go deep to the heart of other people.
Exactly.
This is important, that from
that's very important.
Heart to heart. It's that kind of honesty is something. And as you mentioned, because you referred to the fact that, okay, every Sunday, every Monday, or because there are also technical things about the timing of when to upload, when to produce. So that kind of consistency and rhythm is also important if the followers realize there is someone with a schedule who is realistically able to sustain what he promises to do. And then in the individual people, individual followers, how to turn them into a kind of community, as you mentioned. So bringing
very
them
important.
together, a kind of from individual to a group. So also based on the quality of the work, we should make sure we are rewarding our true fans something. It might be like sharing something, an image, a joke, I don't know, whatsoever, or a newsletter, as you mentioned, or invite them to have some social gatherings, some private Q&A sessions, which happens mostly on Telegram or even nowadays on WhatsApp. So these are the things can create more attraction, more followers, I believe.
That's totally true what you talk about it. And also, like for this session, what's very important to remember, you need to target basically the right community, right? It doesn't matter which platform you use. Like if you feel
Absolutely.
like that your audience does, of course, it's good to be everywhere, but I can imagine we don't have teams of 10, 20 people. So in the beginning, try to focus on one platform. For example, Facebook groups or like WhatsApp groups or Instagram Reels or only YouTube or only travel blog, right? So it depends where you want to focus on, but first you need to know where do hang out your people. So if I focus, let's say, on people that love coffee and they want to become a barista, maybe Facebook groups, maybe there are like many groups about baristas, and then I target those 5-10 professional groups, and I know, okay, those people want to learn that, and I will post valuable content, even maybe invite all the 5,000 people in the group to join like my webinar or maybe mini course. And then from that group, you start slowly to build your own community. So basically you target communities and build your own community, what Baha said. So
I would like to add some points.
Yes.
Yes, I would like to add how it, for example, works in our Russian market. It's used a lot of triggers. For example, we have trends, yes, on the market, and on this in like how it's called informative world, yes, we have trends, and for example, trends which concerns cosmetics, which concerns traveling, which concerns personal development, they are used like a triggers, and there is a research which is finding keywords, and by these keywords, they are used in YouTube to attract the attention of audience, and these triggers, by watching these videos, gathered community of people who are commenting, putting comments, and then, as Baha said, this author, this is free content in YouTube. Then he offered his free webinar or free small project, and then these people watch this free project, and then they are paying for the membership per month and watching this on exact topic like videos or like PDF instructions or something like this. And then membership is a first tool. Second tool, they are selling their like a course, how to solve this problem, or how to open cosmetics online store, or how to, I don't know, even small projects like a travel guide. Yes, a travel guide is first project, and then he told you, okay, guys, you got this travel guide, and I'm an expert. I will be your tour leader, so let's gather all together 10 people. We go to Morocco, for example, like this
Mm-hmm.
scheme. And like if it's psychology, I don't know. Like a very big now trend in Russia, women who divorced, how to recover from divorce. So this is the course for you, how to find a solution and start a new life. And what I saw in Facebook about the triggers and everything, you are telling your personal story that you found the way. So you are like advisor,
Mm-hmm.
support people because a lot of people participated in these discussions. And then this lady like promoting her page on Facebook. And after this, she could like um, sell her project, for example, like HR consultant. Second, as a, I don't know, business development entrepreneur. And third way, as she lived in France, lot of years, relocation to France,
Mm-hmm.
different projects by narrative story and sells her like a private brand with different
Mm-hmm.
projects like this.
That's very smart, actually. That's really smart. So it's all like about targeting the right group, right? And also that's the empathy, also like what Bacha said about the empathy, right? Being able to like connect with people on the emotional level, telling sometimes from your own vulnerability. For example, like, when I was young, I didn't know Dutch, it was difficult for me to connect with local people. I started to follow a course, learn Dutch, felt more comfortable, more confident, found better work, like a success story, right? Some case study. So it's kind of like a all mix of human element, but also like a strategy, right? And then what you said, Veronica, then you can sell a lot of things, and it's easy because you have already the loyalty, credibility, right? Trust of the people. So that's very important. And yeah, I wanted like to give you actually both like interesting homework, something practical, so you can like get your first collab basically. But I have still a feeling that both of you still find it sometimes difficult to maybe focus on one niche. I'm not sure if I'm right, but that's why I wanted to put a bit at homework that you kind of try to define for yourself, like what is your niche, think about your passion.
You're absolutely right, because
Am I
one of the
right with
reasons
that?
is there are a lot of interesting topics. Yeah, a
Mm-hmm.
lot of interesting topics. It's very hard, and there's a temptation. Which one comes
Mm-hmm.
first? Which one comes second? So you like to be driven away to all those things.
I know that feeling because I have the same. I'm also like a very curious person. I want to like, yeah, I mean, I'm hopping
Yeah.
around the world, because I just love it to learn new things. However, nowadays with content creation, it helps to be an expert as much as possible in a small kind of environment. Still, in that small environment, even if you are an expert in, let's say, like, just give something very random like Moroccan spoons, right? That you collect spoons, you connect with a community of 10,000 people that collect Moroccan spoons, right? And you're an expert in that area, right? In that collectible area. Then still you can expand to other countries as well, right? And to other interests. But this is like an extreme version, right? Of like a niche. So try to define for yourself like what's your niche, and
You're
still you can always expand to other areas, That's always good.
You're absolutely right. And this is I would like to paraphrase what you just mentioned, because this is my experience also inside Europe. It is
Oh.
called more and more about less and less. It's better
Mm-hmm.
to get focused, because if it's like a microscopic and telescopic, it's good that we have some telescopic view to look beyond the horizon. But when it comes to
Mm-hmm.
content, when it comes to be an expert, we have to get focused more and more on something which is less and less. So it's a difference
Mm-hmm.
between in a swimming pool of, let's say, 200-meter at 1 meter depth, or one small pond of 2 meters area, but 25
Mm-hmm.
meter depth.
Exactly.
We
Yeah.
need the second one.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
It's very important
Yes.
to be like an expert in a small area instead of being, for example, an expert about Japan as the destination. It's better to be like an expert of the Gion district in Kyoto, for example, where the geishas like hang out, right? And where you have the cafes. So
And
it's
I can say it is simply, absolutely, it is simply proven by the fact that we are living in the world of information explosion. And because of a lot of nowadays AI tools, a lot of books and resources. So the added value would be when you're expert, even in a very small area. It's not possible to
exactly.
be expert in all areas. That's another reason.
Exactly. So it's very important to know, like, try to have it in 1 or 2 or 3 words. What's your niche? Can be like cold weather surfing or surfboard repair, for example, right? Or teaching surf teachers how to teach, right? So that's a bit more niche instead of just like surfing or surfing Portugal. You can go better niche, like surfing in Ericeira, like one surf town, or surfing in Tagazut. That's how you can really like target well, right? So it can be like a geographical expertise, or of course, like specific audience or specific area, right? So yeah, what's your niche? You need to figure it out. Who is your audience? Try also to make only one persona, very simple. Like who's your typical audience? So for me, when I started with language teaching, my audience were like Polish immigrants in the labor sector that wants to break the Dutch language barrier. So just Polish people that want to learn Dutch, and mostly in logistics and construction. So I knew like, okay, where to find those people. So we have, what's your niche? So your topic, who is your audience? Then we have target market, where they hang out, right? So if your audience are like people that love coffee, then they hang out in Facebook groups about beginner barista, barista course, barista academy, coffee lovers, right? So coffee, where to get coffee beans and stuff like that, huh? And then you can connect with them. So your niches, for example, let's say barista course, right? You teach about how to become a barista. Your audience are people interested to become a barista, target market, Facebook groups about becoming barista. Then fourth one will be valuable content, and that will be a content calendar, right? So I will just call it valuable content calendar. So it's about consistency, yeah, like loyalty, consistency, and then attention. Okay, so valuable content. And the fifth one, just to make it simple, it's your offer. So what do you offer to be able to live from it and have that 2,000 or 3,000 euro per month or 5,000 euro per month consistency, right? That you have that. So those are like the 5 points, basically.
Valuable content calendar.
Mm-hmm.
Loyalty, consistency, and what's third?
Sorry, like with the content calendar, yeah, I said like it's important to have consistency, right? When you post the content, so people know you show up, you know, like for example, what I do with the master classes, you know, like, okay, I'm here, you know, like every time for you at the same time. So, you know, okay, that's the space where the community meets. And that means the same with the videos, like for example, with Netflix that you watch for a certain, you know, like episode. So it's the same with email, for example, email newsletter. So that's consistency. Then we had like loyalty. So that's credibility. So people can trust you, right? And the third one was like attention. So you need to kind of spike their dopamine, right? The neurotransmitter in the brain, like dopamine, you need to give them those triggers and spike them to watch your content, basically. So that's a bit of psychology. So attention, loyalty, and consistency. That's with the content calendar. All right. And the last one is just making money, like your offer, right? What do you offer? A service, a product, a tour, an ebook, a course. maybe like something that you will send to them. So that's yeah. Okay, so that's about the 5 steps basically. And then with those 5 steps, I want to give you like a challenge for next time. Try to reach out. It will be a very big challenge. You have 1 week for that. Reach out to a local hotel in your city to get a free stay, and in return provide an article, can be like a video or photography. All right, so the challenge is to reach out to local hotels. You can get a very nice free stay, and then in return you can provide like an article, blog post, a video of the whole hotel, photography, or something else that you feel you are good at and that you can offer to them. Okay, so that's the challenge for this week. So you can have hopefully a very nice stay in a luxurious like hotel. It's a big challenge, but try to reach out at least to 20 different hotels, and then you can see maybe how fast the response rate is. It depends also per city. Yeah, I can imagine you're both in big cities, so there are many hotels, but probably also many people that want to reach out to them. So, but yeah, we
So
will.
do you mean by in person or sending an email or something?
And that's the
How to
beautiful thing,
initiate, how to
because
approach.
to find the right decision maker, you can choose totally yourself. I did, for example, what worked the best for me was in person. I think it's always the best. Go to the local hotel, drink a coffee, talk with the manager, like very casual, you know, like that's the best way. Just like human to human, like, hey, I'm a travel journalist. I do this and that. And oh yeah, maybe, you know, if you could offer me a free stay, I could make you a PR article or like a SEO blog post, or shoot some pictures of your hotel, right? So that's a bit the strategy. And other way, what you can do, you can reach out through email, you can call them, or you can use Instagram, Facebook, or LinkedIn. Yeah, TikTok maybe, but for me, usually number 1 is physical. I'll just write down some. Physical is the best, I think, but of course, I use both physical, email, and then third one, I would say it's LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook, and then the last one is calling. Those 4 kind of, you know, steps you can go through. And to make it for you easier, like I have like a contract. I made a contract a bit with help of AI. So I mean, for 1 day stay, I wouldn't recommend to use a contract, but let's say if you want a collaboration with a hotel for like 1 week, yeah, I had one time, for example, for 10 days or for 1 month, you know, like long term, let's say for more than 1 week, then I recommend to make a contract, because imagine you book your tickets to Japan to go there and stay like in a local, you know, like place, and then suddenly they cancel. Yeah, then you'll be very sad about it because you paid for the ticket and have like a problem. So with the contract, you are more secure as a travel journalist. And also like with your intellectual property, right? Imagine you make content for them and suddenly they start to advertise it on the local television with your face on it, and maybe, yeah, you don't want it, right? So that's also important. And yeah, I will share with you, like, I'll just stop the recording. Oh, almost. Let me check stop.